Security.
Thank you. Yeah. Next, we have position number 10. Tell me your name. Tell me your last name.
Maitula.
Okay. This is 24 CR 005410G. Noor Mayatilla. Charged with 1 count of criminal trespass, 2nd count carrying a weapon in the school safety zone, and the 3rd count willful obstruction. Retrial.
I got first arrest.
Okay. State.
The defendant is accused of trespassing on the property of Clark Atlanta University at the Morris Brown Stadium despite not being authorized to be there. The premises are locked, chained, and gated and have no trespassing signs posted throughout. The defendant was allegedly shooting a music video. When officers asked him what his age was, he first said he was 19, then said he was 21, then eventually admitted that he was actually 22. Officers also asked him several times if he had any firearms on him, and he said no. Officers found a Glock 19 on the defendant's person. The state's recommendation is a $500 surety on the criminal trespass, a $500 surety on the willful obstruction, and a $5,000 surety on the carrying a weapon. We understand this is his first arrest, but it is very concerning that he was on a university campus with a weapon on him that he refused to admit to police that he had on him. And he was shooting a music video, so it's also concerning that he had a weapon on him for that as well. So that is the state's recommendation. Of course, no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
All right. PD.
Your Honor, while enthused about Atlanta's music scene and film scene, young people sometimes make mistakes. His impression of the history of the site he was on, although the police report says it's all locked up and everything, with no trespassing signs, nonetheless, he knew of the reputation of the place and thought it was under surveillance only for the safety of the people around, and actually felt safe being there. He didn't mean to step on any toes. He was just enthused about getting the video shot. The recommendation we would make would be a surety bond. He does have, if I may turn to that, let's see. Here we go. He lives in Decatur, Your Honor, on Electric Avenue. His sister's local. He's local. They have stable phone numbers and addresses. The gun is legal, but it is problematic where it was. The non-use of the facility he may have thought, gee, this isn't really school. But I don't want to quibble and make too many excuses, Your Honor, but we would, and stability, and he really wasn't being dangerous. Now, if get a little persuasive with the,
Sorry, I can't hear you, Mr. McLean.
given his youth, it wouldn't hurt to have a gun safety course. Never hurts anybody to have that.
Are you talking to me?
No.
He's 22. Does he work or anything?
Just the freelance photography.
High school graduate?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I'm going to order a $3,000 signature bond through the jail. That'll be $2,000 on the gun charge, $500 on each of the other two, for a total of $3,000. He is to stay away from the Clark Atlanta University campus. It's pretty vast. to stay away from the whole campus. No unprescribed drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. That'll be it.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor, what type of bond was it?
Signature through the jail.
Thank you.
With the breakdown?
No, I got the breakdown. I just didn't know which one
Okay.
it was.
Okay.
All right. Next is going to be position number 11, Mr. Willie McCord.
This is 24 CR 005414F. Willie McCord, charge of 1 count of simple battery, family violence.
24, 2023 probation, 2022 FTA. Hold on. 2021 battery DV, cruelty to children conviction. He's wanted out of Spalding County.
Okay. State.
Officers responded to the incident location 3432 Mount Gilead Road Southwest in reference to a domestic dispute call. They met with the victim, Demetrius Jones, who stated that her boyfriend, the defendant, and her were arguing when he choked her, took 2 suitcases, the car keys, and walked down the street. She stated the defendant had been drinking at the time. The parties have been together for 15 years and live in the same residence. The state's recommendation is a $2,000 surety bond. Stay away from the incident location. No further contact with the victim. No drugs, weapons, or alcohol, and anger awareness.
BB Kim.
Yes, Your Honor. My client, Mr. McCord, is 38 years old, and he has been here in Georgia for all his life. Your Honor, he does have a family here, his mother, grandmother. We would like to request for signature on bond through pretrial level 1. He is working as a potty planner. He's employed. He's been doing that for the last 5 years. He has a GED, and he does not have any kind of food stamps or anything like that. So he's still qualified for public defender services, and I don't think that he can pay for any bond as of now. That's what we would like to request for.
All right. Then I order $2,000 surety bond. I'm going to order stay away from that Mount Gilead Road address. No further contact with the victim, Demetrius Jones. Stay 200 yards away from her. No other contact. No unprescribed drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And I guess that'll be it for now.
Next, Your Honor, is going to be position number 13, Mr. Andrew O'Brien.
24 CR 005421D. And that's for Andrew O'Brien, charged with 4 counts of battery.
Good.
Huh?
This is 5th arrest, 2024. Arrest out of car, burglary, theft by taking, trespass. Got an open trespass in state court, 23 CR 004 172D. You got to open shoplifting, 23 CR 007 814D. That's a pretrial case.
Okay.
Your Honor, this is my case. This is an incident that just occurred on the 1st of August. The location is a residence, or the front of a residence of one of the victims. The police were called and arrived on the scene of an assault just as this defendant was trying to leave in a vehicle. He was detained, and police spoke with him and the parties involved. He had been out that evening with 2 young women named Eleanor and Mason. Police spoke to both women who were visibly bloody and injured. Eleanor reported that she'd been at the movies with this young man, Mr. O'Brien, and her friend Mason. Andrew drove her friend Mason's car back to the residence, and she followed in her vehicle. When they got to the location, Eleanor reported that she got out of her vehicle and approached Mr. O'Brien and her friend Mason. At that point, the defendant and she, Mrs. Eleanor, exchanged words. Her friend Mason tried to get between them and was shoved out of the way by the defendant. He then started punching Eleanor. They ended up on the ground. She suffered a black eye and a bloody nose. Those are 2 charges of battery. He also punched Mason in the face and ripped the nose ring out of her nose. Bloody hair that he ripped from the head of Mrs. Eleanor was found on the scene. The defendant spoke to police, reported that Eleanor had beat her horn in her car while they were driving, and she pushed him to the ground, so he got up and punched her multiple times, pulled her hair, and kicked her off of him. So he admitted to repeatedly punching one of these young ladies. He said he went inside to wash his face because someone pepper sprayed him, and then he was asked to leave. So he was just trying to leave when police came to the location. He was seen to have bloody knuckles and blood all over his pants. You did just hear that he's on bond for 2 cases, a shoplifting and a criminal trespass. The criminal trespass, Your Honor, he went to a location where they were selling fireworks on the 4th of July as they were trying to close, and he went in and demanded they sell him fireworks and refused to leave. So he's currently on bond and actually supposed to be in diversion for that case. There's some concerns, not just for the safety of these 2 young women, but the safety of the public. This is pretty brazen behavior. Our office has been in touch with both young women, Mason and Eleanor. Mason reported that this young man was her friend. She sustained a busted lip, and she reported that her nose ring was ripped out of her face. She wants no contact and for him to stay away from her residence. I'll make sure that we have that in a moment. Eleanor Reeves reported that she was simply an acquaintance, but she confirmed the events in the warrant and confirmed that she's got a black eye, a bloody nose, and her hair had been ripped out of her head in a chunk. She also would like no contact, Your Honor. The state would be arguing at this point for a $2,000 surety on each of the charges for a total of $8,000. No contact with the victim. Stay away from the location where Mrs. Mason Michaud, her last name is Michaud, resides, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And I'll pull up the address for you now. Thank you.
So is it a stay away from Miss Michaud's address, but no further contact with both victims, or do
Yes,
we have
Your
2
Honor.
addresses?
Just one address.
Okay. All right. Is it Speedy Cook?
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, my client is 22 years old, has lived in this area his entire life. He is currently in automotive engineering at Chattahoochee Tech, where he received a 4.0. Last semester, he denies the allegations as stated in the warrant, and his position is they were the primary aggressors, and indeed he was sprayed with pepper spray. We would be asking, we have no problem with the conditions as recommended by the state, but we would be asking for a surety bond much lower since he is in school and he's working at as a server at Longhorn Steak. We would be asking for something no higher than 1,500 surety.
Your Honor, the address for the stay away is 540 Maplewood Drive in Roswell. And I believe Miss Eleanor Reeves is on the Zoom, if you would sound for her.
Okay, Miss Eleanor Reed,
Hello.
do you wish
I
to address?
actually am
Hold on. Listen
Oh,
to me
sorry.
for a second. Do you wish to address the court today, yes or no?
Yes, Your
If you
Honor.
do, you have to turn on your video or camera. We have to be able to see you.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
And then I'm going to swear you in before you start talking.
Is my camera on? It's not working. Um, my camera's not working, Your Honor. I'm so sorry. Trying to see.
I am too, because I don't know who you are. You either have to sign out and come back in, and if that takes too long, I have to move along.
All right, Your Honor. If you'd like, I don't have to sign into the trial today.
Okay.
You guys can just continue
This is
proceeding.
not a trial. This is
I'm
not a
sorry,
trial.
not
This is a
trial.
bond hearing.
Yes,
Um,
yes, Your Honor.
okay, well, you can just listen in and mute yourself. Thank you. All right, go ahead, PD Cook.
Yes, Your Honor, I think I just made my, we have,
I get,
we have no, objection to any of the conditions. We would be asking for a surety bond, no higher than 1,500.
okay. I'm going to, order a $4,000 surety bond, $1,000 on each count. I'm going to order no further contact with the victims, Eleanor Reed and Mason Mashad. Stay away from the addresses provided for the victims' work and home. Stay 200 football fields away. With this surety bond, no unprescribed drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And I guess that's it unless I've missed anything. Your client, Mr. Cook, has a question.
I would advise you not to speak, but if you have a question about the bond, you can contact me.
Well, it was a question about the bond. I was wondering, I have work Saturday and Sunday. I was wondering if I could just have the bond reduced a tiny bit more to $2,000.
Well,
'Cause
I
I
kind of don't
work-
like the facts of the case. I'll
I
be
work
honest
full
with
time. I understand, Your Honor, but I do work full time. I've been improving my life. I got a 4.0 GPA this term. I have to enroll for my classes before the deadline for next semester for fall. And I get it. But I mean, one of them was my friend, but it's just I have no problem staying away from these girls. Like I mean, they're a whole different city over from me. I live in East Palm.
right. I'm a little concerned about the alleged conduct. You don't have a clean record, so you do have this is your 5th arrest. So I don't know what's going on with you, but I'm glad you have a 4.0, but you got some other issues, it seems.
I know, and that 4.0 just recently
Sure that-
came
Yeah,
about. And
well, I want to make sure that you don't end up here again.
I've just
Seems like
recently
you
been
have
working
the right
harder on it. So if I could just get a $2,000 bond or whatever feels comfortable there, so I can enroll for my classes, I can pay my tuition, I can go to work Saturday and Sunday. I mean, I work full time right now over the summer, and I'd really like to not lose my job either.
Well, I don't know if you're gonna be out of jail in time to go to work Saturday and Sunday. Or Saturday, at least today's Friday.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to
State, do you
know.
all have any objection to lowering the bond?
Your Honor, we asked for an $8,000 bond, so we would object. This hasn't even been 24 hours. He ripped the nose ring out of this girl's nose, and both of these girls are blackened and bloody. And he doesn't have any injuries, does he?
I do, I do.
Okay,
do.
keep talking. Let's talk some more.
Let's not talk anymore, Mr. O'Brien. Thank you, Ms.
Well,
Allen.
I think 4,000 is reasonable and a little low under the circumstances. Because I would order some other things for you to do regarding respect of women and how to treat other people. So you know, 4,000 surety bond is low considering the allegations and the injuries to the victims.
Okay, we wouldn't be able to do 3 grand. You wouldn't feel comfortable doing $3,000.
No, 4,000 surety.
Okay,
Come on.
she said she had more condition.
She said no more.
Oh, she said no more condition?
Yeah, I said no more.
Okay,
Come on.
thank you, Your Honor.
Position number 19, Your Honor, Mr. George Washington.
For respect to the court lines, I'm going to be a little quiet and loud.
He's complaining that y'all a little too loud. You're gonna have to be quiet.
All right, 24 CR 005407B, George Washington. Charge of 1 count of theft by shoplifting and 2nd count of battery, pre-trial.
This court never disappoints, man. 12
Mhm.
total. You got an open ag assault out of DeKalb County. 2020 FTA, a couple of FTAs from 2019. That's all.
This is my case, Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am.
Who knew we were going to have George Washington in court today?
I know. I don't mean to do that. Please forgive me.
So this is a delayed arrest, Your Honor. This is a report from October of last year at the Macy's at 3393 Peachtree Road Northwest. Police were called to the location at the Macy's on a shoplifting report. They spoke to loss prevention officers, one of whom is the victim in this case. His last name is Freeman, and I'm going to say his first name, Daquangy. That's Daquangy. They reported, 2 of these loss prevention officers spoke to police and reported that they had observed a female on surveillance camera removing socks from a display. The value of the clothing items were $350.94. I don't know what kind of socks they're selling at Macy's these days, but I'm doing life wrong, evidently. She put the socks from this display into her bag and then was seen handing that bag off to the young man in front of you. He then tried to go out the exit and was detained by loss prevention. The defendant struck Mr. Freeman in the head multiple times and then took a firearm from his waistband. Mr. Freeman, the security officer, was able to knock the firearm out of this gentleman, the defendant's hands, and they allowed him to flee at that point in order to de-escalate. The defendant unfortunately dropped his fanny pack there in the entryway, which just happened to contain his ID. So there's been a warrant out for his arrest, and he was just picked up, Your Honor. You did just hear he's got an open aggravated assault in DeKalb County, a prior battery that was decreased to a disorderly conduct in DeKalb County as well, and multiple failure to appears. I would note, Your Honor, that the young man who was assaulted and got a gun away from this defendant lost his job as a result of this incident last October. Isn't that a shame? He might have made it so people were safe at that mall. Anyway, we spoke to him today. He has healed from his injuries, but he won't be attending Zoom, and he's obviously upset about the results of this incident. Considering the defendant's actions, the fact that there was a gun involved, I'm guessing, since it was removed from him, it was left at the scene as well. We'd be asking for a $5,000 surety bond, Your Honor. Stay away from Macy's. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons, and to surrender any firearms. Thank you.
And that's what, 2,500 each? Or 3 and 2?
However you want.
All right, go ahead, PD Cook.
Yes, Your Honor, my client is 36. He's the native of Atlanta. He works in a company, well, he's part owner of a company that does cleaning and commercial kitchens, particularly the hoods, oven hoods and things like that. He denies the allegations as stated in the warrant. The business has just gotten started, so he has a fairly modest income. We understand the warrant affidavit and what was alleged, but what I have in front of me is a shoplifting and a battery. So we would be asking for something considerably less. In the way of a surety bond, we have no objection to any of the conditions recommended.
Okay. I'm going to order the $5,000 surety bond, 3,000 on the battery, 2,000 on the theft. Stay away from Macy's. That's on Peachtree Road. Is that at Lenox Mall or what?
I
That's
believe so.
Yeah, that's probably the only one in the area, I would think.
I was gonna say stay away from the whole mall, but we'll just deal with Macy's right now. No further contact with the victim, Mr. Freeman. And no unprescribed medication, drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond.
Hold on. Your Honor, what was our bond amount?
5,000, 3 on battery, 2 on the theft surety.
And Your Honor, would you order the surrender of weapons, please?
Oh, yes. And if you have any other weapons, please surrender them immediately to the Fulton County Sheriff's Department. You should have no weapons. Oh, gee, he has a question, Mr. Cook.
Do you have a question about the some details of the bond? We don't want to go into anything regarding the case or the allegations themselves of Mr. Washington.
Question was about the bond. Is there any way I can get that bond dropped at least 1,000 or 2 so I can pay it myself? Because I don't have anybody else to help pay it. And the said lady in question was actually the shoplifter. They never let me know that they were loss prevention or anything. I was just about the case, right?
Well, you have history here that alarms me. 12 priors, open ag assault and decap. So, no. 5,000 surety.
All right. Thank you.
Your Honor, position number 8, that's gonna be a waiver.
Okay. Yeah, I had that one down.
And I believe position 3 and position 15, those are gonna be breakouts.
3 and 15. Yep, I had 3 down. And 15. Yeah, and that's all we have left, right?
That's it.
Okay, which do y'all want to do first?
Can we do position 15 because he's still in the courtroom?
Okay.
Thank you.
Is there anyone here on this case with Calvin Sims? Or we don't have any other outside people on the Zoom, do we? Think
No.
everybody's internal?
Everybody's
everybody.
staff.
Okay.
Do you want me to stop the live stream?
Yes.